Welcome back to your live continuing coverage of the New York International Auto Show 2017 on BeTerrific. I'm Michael Artis. You are the Terrifics, and you make BeTerrific special at BeTerrific TV on all social media. You can check out our new Snapchat stuff at BeTerrific TV on Snapchat as well. And I'm telling you this specifically right now, even though I've told you throughout the day, because our next guest is from Porsche, and I went and shot some Snapchats at the Porsche booth, and you're not going to want to miss them. We've got the new GT3, the new Panamera, and a very special new Panamera we're going to talk about in just a moment. So if you want to see some of these cars in action, check out our Snapchat feed and enjoy it, because it's unbelievable what Porsche is putting out. All right, if you want to connect with us, connect at BeTerrific.com. We love your positive feedback, and it's a great way to join our Slack chat. Send us your name and your email, and we will send you an invite to join our Slack chat, real-time 24-hour conversation with you, us, and the rest of the Terrifics in a chat room that's totally free and a lot of fun. Here we go. You ready? Probably my favorite car company, Porsche, is joining us. Frank is on again. I've got Dr. David Milch, our chairman, with us, and I know he's a fan of Porsche.
To say the least.
To say the least.
That's good to hear.
You know, the New York International Auto Show is my favorite auto show because it is the show where the most debuts happen of any North American auto show. You guys debuted 4 cars here.
We did.
And I'm very excited about that. I think that the Panamera got a redesign that it needed. It finally feels like it's graduated. It's become a Porsche officially.
Come into its own.
It's come into its own, exactly. It always was a Porsche. I don't mean that. It wasn't. But now, with the new iteration, it feels like, all right, now it's really arrived. And it's got its own identity. And then you've got a new iteration of it as well.
We do. I think the Panamera, to make your point, has always been a Porsche. The DNA of the 911 is very much instilled in that car, and the way it drives and the way it performs and the way it handles. There were certainly people that didn't care for the styling of the predecessor. I think given the reviews you've seen on the new car, that has now gone completely the other way. Everyone is ecstatic about how stunning the car looks.
The design team can breathe again?
The design team is alive and kicking. And the Panamera you're pointing out is the new Panamera Sport Turismo, which is a stunning new body style of the Panamera. It's the first Panamera to seat 5. So that was something that people were looking for, and we are now offering in that particular body style.
And it's a 5-door.
And it's a Sport Turismo, as we call it. So at a larger trunk space, all with the same luxury and performance of the Panamera. 0 to 60 does not change. So the weight increase on that car is very incremental, meaning you get the same performance and luxury that you get in the Panamera sedan, but with a very unique body style. It's one of the most versatile cars in its class and pretty unique to the segment.
I don't want to insult Porsche and say it's a station wagon, but in reality it's a station wagon. And if you had told me 10 years ago or 20 years ago that Porsche would make a station wagon, I probably would have vomited and said no way.
An SUV.
But it is beautiful. No, it's a station wagon.
Yeah, it's true.
It's beautiful.
Wagon.
It performs the duties that a station wagon can do, but offers really more the shape, the performance, the luxury of a sports car.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of it. We had an event last night where we showed the 4-door 928 that they built a one-off of, which is at heart probably the predecessor to this car. But the idea is to offer the same kind of performance and luxury that Porsche customers are accustomed to, but give them an extra angle of versatility and a very, very unique design. This is not a car that, given the, as you call it, wagon market in the US, we're looking to sell in huge numbers. It's something very exclusive, something different, something new and exciting. And we're so thrilled to have this car here.
It is. It's very exciting.
You just used the term, the Porsche customer. How would you define that? It seems like that's broadened. Just the whole idea behind the Panamera and looking at what's going on in the industry in the luxury car area. The Porsche is acknowledging that, not getting away from its classic 911 customer, but expanding.
Right. I think the customer in general, there's no denying that people are swaying towards SUVs and particularly CUVs. But this is something that we've addressed with Cayenne, with Macan, and the sales figures on those cars prove the point that we did that very, very well.
Well, and I think you've also kind of you've kept the Porsche tradition, but you've expanded the offering, and also you've gone higher on one end and lower on the other, right? The Macan is a very reasonable entry point for somebody who wants the Porsche experience in a compact activity vehicle, right? Or a compact utility vehicle, and it's all Porsche. I mean, people love the Macan. I love the Macan. It's a gorgeous vehicle that is everything you'd want from Porsche, and the entry level is reasonable, very reasonable. And then you also have the Cayman and the Boxster, which are right in that range as well.
Right. The Macan starts at under $50,000, and getting back to your point, the Porsche customer is diverse in the needs. If you need a car where you need more space, we have the Cayenne, the Panamera, the Macan. If you want your true track car, there's the GT3 right next to it. I do think that the Porsche customers are all the same in regards to what they expect from the car. Be it a Macan, be it a 911, they expect the utmost in quality. They expect exceptional performance that you cannot get anywhere else. And they want to get out of the car with a smile on their face, whether they've just driven their favorite country back road or driven home from work, but they want to get the sensation out of the car that they are involved, they're engaged, that it's something that is not commonplace. And I think in that sense, the Macan customer is no different from a 911 customer. Now, the 911 customer is obviously interested in more of a sports car performance aspect. The Macan offers more utility, but in the overall qualities of the car and the enjoyment of owning it and driving it, I think Porsche customers are very much alike.
And as that customer matures, gets older, has family responsibilities, you don't want to lose that customer.
Exactly, and he goes through different steps. He can step into another segment and still retain that same Porsche feeling.
Just has to expand
it's
the garage.
More than exactly. It's more than just a car. We're selling an experience. We're offering an experience that no one else offers.
Well, Kevin was with me from our team when we came by to shoot these Snapchat videos with the spectacles, and when we left, he said to me, "Why do you like Porsche more than you like other brands?" And I said, "Because it gives me everything I want in a car at any stage, and then you have the drivability and the durability of a Porsche." And I said, so you could...
And the resale.
And the resale. And I said, if you could afford this car or any of the cars, you could drive them all every day. Right. And that's what I like, is that you don't have to worry about if it's going to start, if it's going to need maintenance. It's not. It's going to drive, and it's going to give you that same experience. You're going to walk away with a smile.
And if there ever is an issue, mechanical, there's such an extensive dealer network that's available worldwide.
Right.
And I think, like you said, it not only keeps its value, it in many cases, they're more valuable than what you paid for. Right.
Now, granted, that's a movement in the industry that we really can't control.
Well, of course.
When we build a car like the GT3 or cars like the last GT3 RS 4-liter of the 997 generation that you may be referencing that's grown in value, that certainly wasn't the goal when that car was designed and built. That car was designed for people to use it, for people to enjoy it, preferably on a track. So the added value is certainly one thing, but as a whole, we certainly look at a balanced demand and supply of our cars, look at maintaining good resale value, and we see that in the customer response.
But the fact that some people will buy some of your cars, put them on blocks, and wait 15, 20 years and cash in, that's a good problem to have.
That's a good problem to have. Again, that's not something that we design the cars for with that in mind, but the fact that the appreciation is there, not just from that respective owner, but from car society, let's just call it as a whole, is great.
I on Long Island, back in about 2006, I met a guy who had literally bought a 930 slant nose turbo that had never seen the light of day. It literally, what you just explained, he bought this from somebody who had bought it, stored it somewhere, and it was the most amazing thing to basically see I mean, when I saw it, it had 1,500 miles on it.
Right.
And this guy was driving it every day.
When you look at the appreciation of different asset classes, when you look at it objectively, art and cars, I mean, those two have appreciated at a pace which has outpaced virtually everything else.
Yeah. I would urge, though, drive.
I agree with you.
You know, because at the end of the day, let's be honest. No one needs a GT3 in their life, but we want it. It's not.
No one needs Keith Haring in their living room or Jeff Koons.
Right, but it's the passion. It's treating yourself to something that makes you happy.
You know what's it's so funny. I was doing this Snapchat, and the guy I was doing with the spectacles on the GT3, and I didn't even know what to say. It's so beautiful. The body work, you got probably the widest fenders you've ever had. The beautiful hips. It's got this big whale tail again, and it's got air intakes on the tail. It's so aggressive in the front, and the lights are actually, instead of flat or kind of curving in, or even slightly curving out, they're bubbled out. It's really a remarkable vehicle, inside and out. And the guy says to me, and it actually was an interesting question. He says to me, "Could you ever have seen yourself buying a red Porsche before you saw this one?" And I said, "No, absolutely not."
It's so interesting what you're saying. We've heard this story, and it's really a narrative, a story from so many of the guests on the show yesterday and today, that what's going on in the industry. Of course, technology matters. We could talk in a minute about electric, we could talk about driverless and so forth. But really the experience, the narrative, the story that people bring to the pursuit of the car they want to buy. And Porsche is the epitome of that in so many ways.
We are, and I think it's also a question of remaining dedicated, but also remaining humble, and at times saying, where do we go next, and leaving your comfort zone. The lineup here has never been more exciting and balanced, in the sense that you have a Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid on the one hand, which is the latest in infotainment, the most connected Porsche ever to hit the road, the first plug-in hybrid flagship of a model line that we've ever created, and the fastest and most powerful Panamera we've ever built. It's actually the second most powerful road car we've ever made, after the 918, which is also a plug-in hybrid. And we have a clear signal from our customers. We sold 66% more hybrids in the US last year than the year before, that they accept that kind of technology. So that pursuit of new frontiers, if you will, or new technologies, alternative powertrains, is there and accepted by our customers. But on the other hand, you have an analog car like the GT3 that in its roots goes back to the core of what Porsche has always been known for. So not forgetting where you come from, but also not being afraid to push the boundaries, I think, is that balance that you see at Porsche. You've always seen doing more with less.
And what's coming next? Driverless, all electric.
Porsche is never going to have a driverless car, I hope. I mean, that's the whole reason that I just
there's a high-end driverless market just waiting for someone.
This is what I say. I say, I love autonomous vehicles. I can't wait to have a car drive me from into New York City, so I could get work done. I can do other things. I don't need to be sitting in traffic behind a wheel. However, Porsche is the reason why I still want to have a vehicle that I can drive myself.
Right. Well, I think that we can all agree that one of the greatest luxuries is the luxury of choice. And our customers, by and large, want it all. There's no denying that autonomous driving is well on its way. It started with cruise control in the 1950s, I believe, and it's been progressing ever since. But the point is, do you want to drive that 911 on your favorite stretch of road or the track? Absolutely. But would a button that says "Take me home" in the worst New York traffic imaginable suit a Porsche? Of course.
Right.
The point is maintaining that choice. We do it with our equipment in terms of the way you can build your car. The GT3 is a perfect example. We have brought the manual transmission back to that car. You can opt for a 6-speed manual, the 7-speed PDK. And for autonomous driving, that method that you have in every one of our assistance systems, be it a stability control or something else, if you don't want it, turn it off. So I think that combination is certainly suitable for Porsche.
And of course, when you talk about driverless isn't just one added widget or gadget. It's a whole suite of technologies,
correct,
which enables better safety, and being able to be in challenging conditions. Driverless might be the end game in certain markets. Driverless trucks, reducing emissions, things like that. But as you said, at the end of the day, it's about a palette, a menu of choices that allows the consumer to choose what best fits their needs and their lifestyle, but continues to utilize the technologies in the most sensible way.
And that's why your point is actually a really good one, that you could have a Porsche, to Frank's point, that you could push a button, you could be driving it and then push a button and say, take me home, and then tomorrow, instead of coming into the city, drive further west or go up to Connecticut or go south to Florida.
And special lanes that are dedicated to it, which make it more efficient, where you don't have to have all of the, the traffic controls and so on. It's inevitable.
Right, and with electrification, to your point, it's the same way. We do have our plans to release a production version of the Mission E that we showed at Frankfurt 2015 by the end of the decade, with an 800-volt charging system, with over 600 horsepower, with 0 to 60 in under 3.5 seconds, with over 300 miles of range, and a charging time of under 20 minutes.
So of under 20 minutes?
Yes, due to the 800 volt system.
You realize it's 2017, that means you have 3 years to accomplish this. We come back here in 3 years, they have to be debuting this car.
Here.
Here, it's the New York Auto Show. That's where the debuts happen.
Here on BeTerrific.
Oh, on yes. Frank will make
we
that
talked
happen.
about it first.
You might overestimate my powers at Porsche just a tad. But no, I have no idea where that production version of the car will be debuting, but the Mission E is coming. And why not? I mean, again, it's a technology that is widely accepted, and I mentioned the customer acceptance on our side to you. About 44% of our customers would consider an electric vehicle at this point.
And their kids and grandkids will certainly demand it. So
I say this all the time, Porsche was the first car manufacturer to put all-wheel drive in a supercar. And I think that's a testament to the forward thinking that is now lending itself to the Mission E. So you've had 4 debuts here. What are they? The Panamera Turbo, the
Panamera Turbo C Hybrid, which we spoke about, fastest, most powerful Panamera ever.
What you said, it's the most connected Porsche as well. So what are some of the connectivity things
that all Panameras, in fact, have, including the Sport Turismo as well, have a 12.3-inch touchscreen that offers you complete control of all the drive systems, infotainment of the car at the touch of a button. There's a haptic surface now in the center console, compared to the buttons that we had before, that allow a much quicker, more intuitive use of those systems. So the whole interface is new, and it's a very quick reacting system that offers Apple CarPlay, Google Earth, Google Street View, mapping, Wi-Fi connectivity.
Android Auto as well?
Android Auto not at the moment.
Do you have a space for the coffee cup?
We have cup holders too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that wasn't...
I know, that's... That's
I read an article once in which I forget the manufacturer, put a coffee cup holder, and then they did a survey, after everybody looked at the car. What was the feature you liked the most? And people talked about the coffee cup holder. So don't underestimate or overestimate.
So we do have those.
You have that.
Yeah. Since there's no Android Auto, you could have an iPhone holder too.
There you go.
I would love a car company to actually manufacture a phone holder. I don't understand why we haven't done that yet. But anyway, I digress.
Right.
So it's very connected. I like that. And you haven't gone away, from what I've seen, from the beautiful Porsche gauges, the gauge cluster, which
No, the central tachometer is not a simulation. It's an analog tach.
I hope you never go away from the real gauges, because that is one thing I think is a Porsche hallmark.
But do you have heads up as well? I mean, in any of the cars?
We don't have heads up.
Okay.
But again, for us, it's always getting the technology to it. Just like the electric Porsche, you could ask, why are we waiting till the end of the decade? Why do you not have it now? The answer is because we don't have it to a point yet. The technology isn't to a point yet where it will drive like a Porsche.
Right.
We want, and our customers demand this, they have a certain expectation of what a car should feel like. Even if they've never driven a Macan before and they're a 911 owner, they want a similar kind of feel, respective to the car, of course, but a similar kind of feel in that Macan. So anything that does not live up to that standard, would be a disappointment.
Sure.
So the Mission E is no exception. The fact that it's electric doesn't exempt it from handling, driving, feeling like a Porsche.
I love that.
And we need that time.
Okay, so we've got the Panamera.
Panamera Turbo C Hybrid,
Yep.
the Panamera Sport Turismo, which we spoke about.
Beautiful.
Amazing car. When we launched the concept of that car, I believe it was in 2012 at the Paris Motor Show, people were just stunned by the design, and the fact that it looks very similar to that concept is great. It's a beautiful car. We also have 2 new 911 variations. Our icon, the evergreen sports car, over 50 years of heritage. The 911 is back with a manual in the GT3, 6-speed manual or a 7-speed PDK. The previous version of that car, we opted for PDK only due to several reasons, primarily being performance. We wanted to elevate it to a new level, and PDK was one of the items that helped us accomplish that goal. But we did leave some enthusiasts behind that are interested more in experience than lap times. So we brought the manual back. So now that you can have it both ways, whatever your preference.
And the car is so stunning.
Yeah, gorgeous.
It's beautiful. It's unbelievable.
And our 4th premiere is the 911 GTS range. And as you both know as Porsche fans, GTS is really the sweet spot in many of our ranges. We have a Macan GTS, we have a Cayenne GTS, and now we have the 911 GTS back in 5 variants. There's a Carrera GTS coupe and cab with rear-wheel drive, Carrera 4 GTS coupe and cab, and then the Targa 4 GTS. 30 more horsepower than the S models, 450 horsepower, 405 foot-pounds of torque. It's got a Sport Chrono package standard, Sport exhaust standard, 20-inch center lock wheels, black accents, Alcantara interior. This car is a strong value proposition. It's about a 10% roughly value over equipping an S with the same options. So you're getting more power, you're getting a unique design, you're getting value, and just the perfect blend of performance and usability for someone that wants the highest performing Carrera or Targa variant but still wants to use it daily. So it's been a very popular car in the past. And GTS, the moniker, has a long history in the US. The first car to bear it was the 904 GTS race car in the 60s. And the first 904 GTS ever were delivered in the US. And the first race they participated in was in the US. So there's a long GTS history, and the GTS 911, when it was on sale in the US, always performed very well. There was a high appreciation for it.
In many ways, this again epitomizes the Porsche story. Leaning on your history, taking pride in it, and using it, and then repurposing, repackaging it, with an homage to the past, but also looking into the future.
Looking to the future, yeah.
It's a stunning vehicle, and if you're coming to the New York International Auto Show, starting April 15th, it's open to the public. That's the Saturday.
2 weeks.
And it's open for 2 weeks. You can walk up to the box office and buy tickets. It's well worth the experience, but you get to get up close and personal with Porsche and these vehicles and see them and take pictures of them. And
it's such a fun show.
It is.
There's lots of things for the family to do, for the kids, the cars, of course, and, some of the technology, some of the games that are on the floor. Everybody will really enjoy coming to the International Auto Show.
Absolutely, and you got to go see Porsche, and the Targa sitting out there, which I really like, because it gives you, I think, the best of both worlds. It gives you the experience of a convertible with the rigidity of a coupe.
Right. And on the GTS, we've done something unique for the Targa. It has a black Targa bar for the first time. So that's something that we didn't have on the previous Targa GTS. And if you prefer it in the silver or brushed aluminum that the regular Targas come in, you can get that, just like you can get the chrome exhaust tips instead of black chrome, or silver wheels instead of black wheels if you prefer that look. But the Targa GTS sets itself apart, among other things, through the black bar, which is unique
now, Frank,
to the car.
we've learned that this show is the last show in kind of the year-long auto show season. It starts September, October, and then the auto show.
Till we get back to LA. And,
right. So you guys get to enjoy the last show of the year and to have a nice party at some point at the end of the show, and to look forward to next year.
We do. I mean, we're always working. We're always striving for more. We never sit still. Otherwise, you wouldn't see the cars that we have here if we were content with what we're doing now. We're certainly very proud of what we do, and at first and foremost, I always like to say I'm proud of the engineers. We're very fortunate and honored to win the World Car of the Year award in the performance category this year for the 718 Boxster and Cayman. And I was asked who gets credit for that, and I said, without a doubt, our engineers. Not only are they extremely smart, I would have loved for them to do my math homework when I was younger, but they're passionate. There's not just expertise behind these cars, there's personal stories and personal willpower, personal passion to go above and beyond. They are not satisfied until they are satisfied, and it takes a lot. They're German after all.
I have a feeling
the bar is
that
high.
the engineers would also give credit to the marketing people, the public relations, the folks that package and tell the story. Really, it's the left hand shaking the right.
Certainly,
you need both sides.
Certainly, you need that, but it's, again, we are very fortunate that they allow us to work with a platform that needs no exaggeration. I don't need to spin the yarn and tell stories. It's laying the car out
open
there
the hood and it speaks for itself.
And talking about the technology, talking about the people that are responsible for it, and being proud of that.
That's great.
Proud of the history. So I think that the engineers deserve a lot of credit.
It's a lot to be proud of, and they definitely do. Speaking of that, Jay Bird is in our Slack chat, and he wanted to know where he can find the documentary on the factory and Porsche that was done and circulating. Can you find it on Netflix?
It should be on Netflix or just YouTube if you Google Porsche factory tour.
Okay.
I think I saw it on there recently. But yes, the factories are another integral part of the process, particularly our factory in Leipzig where the Cayenne, Macan, Panamera are built.
And people can come and get a tour? Is it?
There are factory tours. We also have a European delivery program where customers can opt to take delivery of their car at the factory, get a tour, and enjoy the beautiful German countryside in the process afterwards. So
that's a wonderful program that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
That you can go to the manufacturer's Porsche, pick your car out, on the floor, drive it for a period of time, take a tour of Germany and some of the countries, and then end up in a port city.
Right.
You can pick your port city and then ship it off, and all of the adjustments, all of the alterations to meet the U.S. standards are made on the car before it's shipped out.
Correct. Well, basically you order a US spec car here and it is delivered to you in US specification in Germany, and you drive it for a set amount of time, and it gets taken to the port and delivered to your local dealer as the car would have been either way, but you have the opportunity to see where it's built, take delivery of it, drive it in Germany, and then you greet your car when it arrives at your dealer back home.
And there can even be a cost saving associated with it sometimes.
We don't have a discount on that. We offer it as a no-cost option. What we also offer is the new vehicle delivery in our experience center in Atlanta and in Los Angeles next year, 2018. Where
What is that like?
it's basically the same program. So you come to our experience center in Atlanta, and then it's planned to do that in LA next year as well, and eat in our restaurant, drive a car like yours, not your own car, but a car like yours on our track to get a feel for what the car is like in that environment. And then that same coach that's taking you out on the track and explaining how you can become a better driver and understand your car will then walk you through your new car in terms of how to use it. And it's a great...
So that's up and running in Atlanta.
That's up and running in Atlanta.
We'll
We've done well over 100 cars last year.
Wow.
That's pretty awesome.
And the experience centers in general are just such a unique and all-encompassing way of... They're brand ambassadors, if you will. You learn to understand what we're all about and embrace the brand in a whole new way. It's the experience as a whole. Being part of the Porsche family, you understand what that feels like when you come there.
If someone's interested, they can go to the website and navigate to the...
Yes, it's PorscheDriving.com is where we offer our driving courses at the experience centers, and there are also tours available, and there's also a restaurant that you can book for dinner.
And you pick up the, I imagine you pick up the car there and then can drive it home, or you...
Yes, so you pick up the car, it's all prepped and ready to go, And then we've had customers drive as far as Texas, Chicago, I think even San Francisco at one point from Atlanta.
Michael,
you know, start your.
I'm ready.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Start your new car off with a road trip. What could be better?
Nothing. It sounds amazing, and that's really cool. So you can go to the website, or you can obviously go to your local Porsche dealer and get going with that.
Right.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, it's perfect. It really is for the Porsche enthusiast. And you can join the Porsche Club of America, which is a great organization as well. And I know you guys support that organization, and as they support you, and then you have wonderful events here for them and at other shows.
We do. I mean, the Porsche Club of America is the largest Porsche club worldwide, 120,000 members strong, and shows, particularly from a U.S. standpoint, just how strong. We were talking about the loyal following, the customer loyalty that we're fortunate to have earlier, and they're just a striking example of that. They're, at times, our biggest critics, which we appreciate. We're interested in competing. We always want to get better, but they're also a lot of our most passionate and loyal followers. And to have that strength riding behind you is so much appreciated. Yeah.
We should do a BeTerrific story on the Porsche experience at the...
I'm telling you, fantastic, with the 360.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That would be amazing. Thank you so much, Frank, for all your time.
Thank you.
We'll talk about this off camera and a whole lot more. Hopefully you enjoyed this segment. There's a lot more to come here at the New York International Auto Show 2017, your live continuing coverage. I'm Michael. For Frank and David, we'll be back right after this. Stay with us.